This is Fieldsports Channel News. Guns on Pegs experienced a record-breaking June for inquiries about shoots. The website says initial fears about cancelled shoots due to coronavirus appear to have evaporated after the government relaxed restrictions at the weekend. Our viewers reported in April that about a third of shoots were planning to mothball, and many of the rest were reducing the numbers of shoot days. Now Guns on Pegs has recorded 10% more inquiries about shoots than last June, and is putting it down to shooters being stuck indoors for most of the spring. Guns on Pegs is recommending anyone who hasn't booked their shoots to hurry up before the few remaining get snapped up. Demand for pheasant poults has gone down, supply has gone down, but the price has gone up a little. According to a specialist game bird vet, coming out of coronavirus lockdown could have been a lot worse. Dr. Kenny Nutting of St David's Game Bird Services puts prices at £3.90 to £4.20 per poult, up from last year's £3.80 to £4. However, he says the more expensive birds are better quality, and the game farms have worked harder to reduce mycoplasma bacteria, which cause respiratory disease.
I mean, initially we were worried we're going to be down to 20% of what we were last year. I think there's certain pockets in the kind of the southwest and the far southeast, which are sort of looking at 40–50% production of what they were last year. But the rest of the country were somewhere between 70 to 80% overall, which is great, to be fair.
A Scottish government agency has recognised gamekeepers as key to saving the endangered capercaillie in the Cairngorms. The Cairngorms National Park Authority has launched a £2 million investment aimed at controlling the bird's predators. Their natural domain has shrunk to a few forests, and the role predators such as foxes and crows play in raiding nests is increasingly cited as a threat. Through the CNPA project, gamekeepers will bump up predator control. The funding comes after an independent survey recognised the role gamekeepers play in protecting the birds. A hunt steward has donated the compensation he received from a hunt saboteur to the Cottesmore hunt. Animal rights extremist Anishka Grabovich spat in the face of farmer Gwilym Owen while she was trying to disrupt a lawful trail hunt. The incident was caught on video. Grabovich received a police caution and was ordered to pay Owen £50 in compensation. The 45-year-old animal rights extremist, who is a designer from North London, was also banned from following hunts in Leicestershire and Lincolnshire for 12 weeks. The incident was in November 2019. The police caution was issued in January 2020, and Owen received the payment in June. New evidence for the positive effect of muir burn on peatland protection could shape the future of conservation. Research on issues including water quality, biodiversity and wildfires reveals that conclusions drawn from previous studies are out of date and not safe to be used as the basis for policy decisions about peatland management. The dossier is made up of 4 reports from university researchers and scientists. Key findings include burning helps prevent and limit wildfires and does not appear to cause water discoloration. Basque Countryside Alliance, the CLA, Moorland Association and National Gamekeepers Organisation welcome the findings. Chris Packham is not so happy. The British government is planning to ban the import of hunting trophies, according to Boris Johnson's fiancée, Carrie Symonds. The 2019 Tory election manifesto included a commitment to stop the import of endangered animal parts. Symonds' friend, the former MP Zach Goldsmith, who has kept his job at DEFRA after Johnson made him a lord, later extended that to include antlers from deer shot in the UK. Unlike former Prime Minister David Cameron, who is a keen deer stalker, Johnson calls keeping trophies such as deer antlers a barbaric practice. The Telegraph's report says there are concerns about the definition of endangered and when the law will take place. Around 70 animal parts were legally imported into the UK in 2018, including elephant ears and hippopotamus's teeth, all under international conservation guidelines that regulate the industry. Symonds is a vocal animal rights campaigner and has spoken out against all kinds of hunting. American media has followed the UK in accusing its countryside of being racist. Last week, the BBC's Countryfile programme suggested the countryside was indeed racist. A day or two later, America's ABC News accused its country's national parks and campgrounds of the same thing, insisting they're stubborn bastions of self-segregation. Environment group the Sierra Club insisted the parks and public land suffer from systemic racism. It quotes government data on the 419 national parks in the US, which says that 23% of visitors to the parks are not white. Minorities make up 42% of the US population. David Vella, Acting Director of the National Park Service, says there is a lot of work to do. A group calling itself Brown People Camping says the future of US national parks is at risk because not enough non-whites visit them to learn about the importance of nature. An online petition is calling for the proposed cull of tahr in New Zealand to be scrapped. The organisers say tahr have been in the country for 116 years, but the Department of Conservation is about to kill thousands of them. The aim is to completely remove all the animals from 2 national parks, effectively ending recreational tahr hunting for thousands of Kiwis and job losses in related businesses on the South Island. The petitioners complain the cull is being carried out without adequate consultation and against the interests of thousands of New Zealanders and overseas hunters. The Himalayan Tahr Control Plan 1993 requires the DOC to establish the number of tahr and provide a viable hunting resource, which the organisers say it's never done. Antis are opposing the appointment of a hunter to a wildlife position in Western Australia. In 2010, Joel Crossberg, the Department of Parks and Wildlife's acting district manager, posted photos on Facebook of himself posing with a rhino, elephant, giraffe and zebra he'd shot in Africa, helping to fund conservation work there. WA Premier Mark McGowan wants a probe into how he was appointed, insisting it's inappropriate for a game hunter to work in a conservation organisation. Hunters in Tasmania are campaigning against the proposed commercialisation of deer. The Shooters, Fishers and Farmers Party of Tasmania say the commercialisation of wild fallow deer would be a disaster and must not be allowed to happen. The party says it will destroy the local venison industry, leading to job losses. The end result, it says, will be the complete wiping out of the deer and destruction of rural and regional hunting tourism.
The effect on the local hunting community is that that hunters feel that that's just going to remove their access, remove their capability, and
make it harder for them.
and make it harder for them to ever be able to shoot a deer here in Tasmania.
A Florida sheriff could turn gun owners in his county into deputies to help with lawlessness. Weeks of protests and Black Lives Matter graffiti have prompted a vow from Clay County Sheriff Darry Daniels to deputise lawful gun owners to work with his deputies if they need help with violent protests.
Lawlessness, that's unacceptable in this country. Lawlessness, that's unacceptable in Clay County. And if you threaten to come to Clay County and think that for 1 second that we'll bend our backs for you, you're sadly mistaken.
Rivals of Daniels, who's up for re-election, says it's just a publicity stunt to get more votes. Daniels is under investigation by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement for an alleged affair with a colleague and later having the woman falsely arrested. He has apologised. Daniels says he will protect peaceful protests, but anyone tearing up Clay County will not be tolerated. The state of Florida has a broadly pro-hunt, pro-gun attitude. It recently expanded its laws prohibiting the harassment of hunters, anglers and trappers. And finally, important news for country people, a fashion icon has gone rural. Former footballer David Beckham has used lockdown to promote a look fashion commentators call cottagecore. And there's me thinking it was something very different. Photos on his Instagram page show him in country locations. Here at Fieldsports Channel, we're promoting a look we just call hairy. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.